Hello and welcome into the Nesson.com MMA podcast. Andre Kachaturian here again with you as always with Sports Illustrated's Jose Youngs, who is calling in from Phoenix, Arizona. Jose, what's going on? UFC 228 in Dallas this week. You ready to talk some fighting?
Yeah, I'm always ready to talk fighting, man. Low-key, fantastic card that's obviously being overshadowed by the Conor fight in October, but this Dallas card is like slowly and very under the radar become one of the better fight cards of the year.
Yeah, you look at some of the preliminary fighters fighting the preliminary card. You got Jimmy Rivera, Aljamain Sterling, and the two separate bantamweight matchups that can really shake up the rankings. And, of course, Carlos Esparza headlining the preliminary card on FX against Tatiana Suarez. Those are going to be some good matchups. But let's talk about the main card here. We got 5 fights, a lot of good prospects as well. Let's talk about the first fight on the main card, 2 welterweight prospects, Abdul Razak Al-Hassan and Niko Price in a welterweight battle. I really like this fight. I think it's going to be an exciting fight that is absolutely not going to last go to the distance. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. This is one of my favorite fights on the whole card in terms of the potential of this potentially being like a fight of the night, performance of the night. Niko Price is one of those guys that's like kill or be killed. Either he's going to submit you or knock you out, or he's going to get submitted or get knocked out. I mean, he knocked Randy Brown out off his back with his like a hammer fist off his back or something like that, which is one of the most insane knockouts ever. Not in terms of like, Randy Brown went to sleep, but if you would have said, oh, he got hammer fisted from the pop, that's hard to explain. And then obviously Abdul, he's been out for a while, fought in the Boston card out in your neck of the woods. I thought he was going to be like a big deal, especially because you got Kamaru Usman and Francis Ngannou and all these guys coming from like the Nigerian world, but he hasn't fought since January 2018. So I don't know if people forgot about him. I definitely think he's a knockout artist. Definitely one of the brighter stars in that division. So I'd have to agree with you. I don't think this is going 3 rounds. I love this fight.
Yeah, neither of these fighters go deep. Price has never gone the distance in the UFC, and Al-Hassan has only gone the distance one in his entire MMA career. Most of his fights are just done in the first round. 9 wins, 9 knockouts for Al-Hassan. He's also the slight favorite on Bovada right now, minus 145. What are your thoughts on that?
I'd have to agree. I'd have to agree. Niko Price is not the biggest welterweight in the world. He doesn't cut a lot of weight, so just if you eyeball them, you pick who. If you just looked at the 2 fighters' physical appearance, who you think is going to win. I don't know a lot of people that would say Niko Price. He can get overpowered, but he's very crafty. He's great. He's great jiu-jitsu. Has surprising knockout power. Just physically, I think he might be a step behind Abdul. But again, Niko always seems to find a way to win because people may not take him seriously. He's a very interesting looking guy. He usually has that goofy top knot and a funny grin. So maybe that has something to do with it. But I'd agree with you. I'd say Abdul's a slight favorite.
All right. So prediction for this fight, I'm gonna actually go with the upset. I think Niko Price he has a slight grappling advantage. I try to see him try to maybe get this fight to the ground. He has several submission victories to his name. What do you think? Who do you think?
I'd have to agree with you. I think the safest bet is either him off his back. Like I said, he even when he's taken down, he's always fighting for the submission. But I'm gonna have to say, I'll say rear naked choke probably sometime in the second round. He has an absolutely killer gas tank. I want to see Abdul go. If it goes into the 3rd round, I think it favors him because he does have one of the better gas tanks in his division. So I'll pick the upset too, but I'll say second round submission.
Interesting. Okay, so far we agree. Let's go to the next fight. Women's strawweight bout, Jessica Andrade and Karolina Kowalkiewicz. 2 fighters who at one point fought for the belts and lost to Joanna Jędrzejczyk back when she was the champion, and now they're in a critical situation here because, Jędrzejczyk has lost twice to Nama Yunus. We kind of want to see what's going to happen with this division. Very important, critical fight for both of these two. I was shocked to see, though, on the Vegas odds that Andrade is a massive favorite in this one. Some betting sites have her as a minus 450 favorite. What are your thoughts on that?
I'd have to agree with that, honestly. I mean, you could make an argument that Andrade is the best strawweight in the world. it's very weird. This is a very weird matchup because the winner of this is going to fight Rose Namajunas for the title. This is the number one contenders fight. Karolina Kowalkiewicz is actually the last person to beat Rose. But Rose, her head wasn't in camp. She was having some personal problems leading to that fight at UFC 201. So it's weird to think Karolina Kowalkiewicz has a win over her. But then again, if you watch both Joanna fights, like Joanna's win over Jessica Andrade is probably her most dominant performance. I mean, she won 50-45, completely outclassed Jessica Andrade. But then if you watch her fight against Karolina Kowalkiewicz blocked her and actually had her hurt. So on paper, if you look at them, you would assume Andrade should be the masked favorite. But then when you look at their two fights against Joanna and Jacek, the greatest strawweight ever, Karolina Kowalkiewicz clearly had a better fight and was much more in the game, and she has a win over the current champion. So I think this is a 50-50 fight. I do think Jessica will win, though. I think Jessica will beat everyone not named Joanna. I think Jessica versus Rose is a very interesting matchup, and one that I would give Jessica a slight favor to. I think her strengths are Rose's weaknesses. So I would say Andrade should win this. But again, I would say this is like 51-49 in favor of Andrade at this point.
Really? So you disagree with the odds then that Andrade is a massive favorite then? Because you say it's a 50-50 proposition. Andrade. I
would give Andrade the slight favorite, but not that big of a favorite. Not that big. Not
right.
Like
yeah.
400.
I agree with you, but I also agree with you about the fact that Andrade would win. I just think stylistically, this could be kind of a mismatch for Kowalkiewicz, just because, Andrade shows so much explosion. When you look at Kowalkiewicz, she doesn't really finish fights. Her last finish came, I think, back in 2014. I don't know if that's going to work against Andrade. I don't think Andrade's going to, finish this fight pretty early. And, I was shocked to see that, the massive disparity in the...
Yeah, Andrade is also a massive strawweight. I mean, Andrade fought at 135. I mean, she fought Liz Carmouche and Rocky Pennington at bantamweight, and then dropped all the way down to strawweight. So she is one of the bigger women at 115 pounds. She's the definition of explosive. She's definitely a finisher. So I would have to say her. If this does end in stoppage, I would have to say her. If it goes to a decision, you'd have to assume Karolina wins.
Let's keep moving forward now to the third fight on the main card. It's the last non-title fight. And this could have been a fantastic bout between two young prospects in the featherweight division, Zabit Magomedsharipov and Yair Rodriguez. But Yair obviously not fighting in this due to injury, and Brandon Davis, the late fighter coming
late replacement.
Late replacement. That was the word I was looking for. So Magomedsharipov, he last fought at UFC 220 in Boston against Kyle Bochniak, and what could be the fight of the year. And honestly, that was something. That was a great fight. But you look at the guy. This is a minus 1,400 favorite right now. He's a massive favorite. There's basically no way this guy should lose. And I mean, look at him. He's just a massive guy. He just can beat you in several different ways. He has 6 knockouts, 6 submissions to his name. He can beat you in standing. He can beat you on the ground. Does Brandon Davis have any shot in this fight?
Well, it was UFC 223 in Brooklyn. We were both at that one. I think you got the fight. Bochniak was on.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was 223. You're right.
Was it 223, the Khabib Ally Kingston card? But I would say Zabit should have no problem winning this. I think Yair Rodriguez would hold the advantage over Zabit. But when Zabit did go to a decision against Kyle, I think Kyle's one of the tougher in terms of durable fighters in that division.
Yeah.
But Zabit had a real messed up hand. I think he actually hurt it in the back.
He fought with a broken hand.
Yeah, he fought with one hand and still won. I don't know many people that had Kyle winning that fight. I thought it was pretty clear Zabit won. So I would say Zabit wins this no problem. But again, it's MMA. I don't think anything's 100%. So I would say Zabit wins. I'll say second round, first round knockout, and then they should immediately rebook that Yair Rodriguez fight because that's one of the best fights they can make. I would give Yair a slight edge because I think Yair has some of the best grappling off his back in featherweight too. So Zabit, no problem in this one.
Yeah, gotta agree with you 100% there. Zabit easily. I think this is a good opportunity for him too. That if you put Davis to sleep within like the first 2 minutes in dramatic fashion, he can really propel himself into the rankings and maybe get a top 10 fight and just skip Yair altogether. Put himself.
I think they really want that Yair fight. I mean, that's an exciting fight. The Hispanic market desperately needs superstars, and Yair fits that mold. They have very similar styles of striking where they throw a lot of spinning kicks and back fists and elbows and knees. I just think that you can make that a main event of any fight night, and it would sell in both the Russian and Hispanic market. So I think that fight would make a lot of sense. But it's, again, like you said, if the beat just like melts his opponent in the first 2 minutes and Yair is still hurt, and if the beat wants to fight again by the end of the year, you got to move on. But I want to see him fight Yair.
Yeah, everybody's favorite Abraham Lincoln doppelganger too. Looks exactly like Abraham Lincoln.
I agree, man. It's like Lincoln with an afro.
All right, now let's move on to the main event of the evening.
The
very good fight. Even if Darren Till doesn't make weight, it'll still be a very good fight. I'm still excited regardless. We don't know if he will or not. This is currently being recorded on a Thursday night, so obviously weigh-ins are on Friday. But Darren the Gorilla Till, 17-0-1, undefeated, going up against welterweight champion Tyron Woodley, who hasn't fought in a long time. Shoulder injury, coming back from a shoulder injury. This is going to be an interesting injury to come back. And what do you see in this fight? Do you see Darren Till trying to expose that injury, maybe try to get him out over there? What do you see happening?
I don't think he's going to target the shoulder exactly, but Darren is like 6'2", 6'3". He's one of the bigger welterweights in UFC history. He cuts a ton of weight. I mean, he calls himself a light heavyweight fighting at welterweight, which is just insanity. Like if you stand next to Darren Till, he is absolutely humongous. And how he gets, it's like when Anthony Johnson used to cut down to welterweight. It just didn't look healthy. Darren says he can make it. Obviously, everyone's going to ask about the weight because he missed it against Stephen Thompson. I actually think Stephen Thompson won that fight. I thought it was so close, though. I didn't have a problem with them giving it to Till. You could make the argument that he got the hometown nod because it wasn't Liverpool, which he represents very passionately. But you and I talked about this after. I actually had Stephen Thompson winning that fight. But it was a great fight. It was very high. It was a highly skilled chess match with striking. That being said, I think Tyron Woodley wins. Darren Till believes in his heart of heart. He's the best not just the best welterweight, but the best fighter in the world. He has his bravado and his confidence really does remind me of a young Conor McGregor where he believes everything he says. I would not say he doesn't deserve this. He beat Stephen Thompson fair and square. It's not like he cheated or anything. He missed weight. You can make the argument that he missed weight. He shouldn't get the title fight. But Colby Covington, interim champion, wasn't ready. Kamaru Usman, for whatever reason, they skips him over. He's going to make weight just in case Tyron or Darren doesn't make weight or gets hurt, so he's like the backup. I just think Tyron Woodley's slightly better. I mean, he fought Stephen Thompson twice. He fought Damian Maia. He fought Stephen Thompson twice and Damian Maia in the span of like 9 months. Like the two best specialists in this division, Stephen Thompson, best striker, Damian Maia, best grappler, and Tyron Woodley put it on them like 3 times. So you have to assume Tyron Woodley takes this. He's clearly the best grappler. I mean, Darren Till has been saying it all week. Tyron Woodley's a better wrestler than me. He's a better grappler than me. I'm a better striker. We'll find out if my power is better, is a bigger advantage than Woodley's power. I just think Tyron's wrestling is going to make a very big difference. Darren's never fought a wrestler like that. He fought Cowboy and then he fought Stephen Thompson, 2 strikers. I'm going to have to give a slight edge to Woodley to retain. I don't think he's going to knock him out. I think it's going to be a decision, drag him out, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, like you said, you got to see if Darren Till makes weight first.
Yeah, that's the big if. But I don't know. I think there's a lot more to the fight game, and when you get to this level with championship fighters, when it comes to just physical stature and being in tight shape, I think there's a huge mental aspect to this. And I think Darren Till, with the way he trash talks and his bravado, his personality, his confidence, you talked about it. He's kind of like a young Conor McGregor. And I don't know if Woodley has that in him to be able to. He's never it seems like he's a little sensitive when it comes to the trash talk stuff. When Covington comes after him and Till comes after him, he had gone back and forth with Dana White sometimes, or just feeling that he doesn't get the respect he deserves. I don't know. I think Till might be in his head a little bit. I think we might see like a historic moment in UFC history where Till comes in maybe in the first minute and just ends the fight. And I don't know. This is a bold prediction.
It could very well happen. I mean, Darren Till has, like, outside of Stephen Thompson, Darren Till has this striking. Maybe Carlos Condit is up there too, but no one has the size and length that Darren Till has in that division. I mean, he slept Cowboy in the first round.
Yeah.
I mean, he avoided all of Stephen Thompson's attacks, and he put it on Thompson. I mean, the only action that happened in that fight was basically Darren Till dropping Stephen Thompson at the very end. That being said, I don't know anyone at 170 pounds outside of George St. Pierre if he comes back that has a better game plan camp than Tyron Woodley. I mean, he said he basically became a black belt training for Damian Maia because all he did was bring these high level jiu-jitsu practitioners to get him ready for Damian Maia. When he fought Stephen Thompson, he brought in all these karate and Muay Thai and kickboxing specialists to train him specifically for Stephen Thompson. So at 170, there's not a better game planner than Tyron Woodley. And if you interview Darren Till, he's like, I don't care what Tyron Woodley does. I'm going to go out there and do what I want. Darren Till is getting ready to fight what he does best. Tyron Woodley is preparing specifically for Darren Till, and he wants to if Darren throws a kick, he wants to know it's coming. It's the difference between when Conor McGregor fought Nate Diaz the first time, he just showed up. He's like, I'm so good, I'm just going to show up and run through Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz submitted him. They rematched. Conor McGregor structured his entire camp around fighting a 6-foot jiu-jitsu and boxer practitioner. And then he won that fight because he was prepared. Tyron Woodley spent so much money bringing in people to prepare specifically for opponents that it will absolutely play a factor. That's why I'm giving the slight edge to Tyron Woodley, just simply because he knows what he's doing.
That is a very interesting point you make that I honestly hadn't really thought of much, but I'm still going to side with Till. I just think,
I think
psychological factor is going to wear down Woodley. Till's going to come.
It definitely plays a factor, 100%. And if Darren wins, I would assume they do a rematch, depending on where Colby is. Like maybe you could do Colby and Kamaru in the co-main event. I think Darren Till winning would be very good for the UK market. They would need another champion now that Michael Bisping is retired, because Darren Till has clearly taken that mantle of being the face of the UK market. I know he wants to fight. And that in the Liverpool arena, stadium, where the Liverpool soccer team plays, he believes in his heart of hearts that'll happen. But yeah, I am beyond excited for this fight. It's the best fight of the night.
I think it's going to be an amazing fight, but we can't ignore Woodley's shoulder. Do you think that's going to be any factor for Woodley in this fight? Maybe not still going after, but do you think it's a serious injury he's coming off after he missed a lot of time? Do you think it's going to be any factor in this fight?
I mean, I'm sure it'll play a factor. It's hard. I don't know when, because Tyron Woodley said he could have fought in June or July. Like, when they made that welterweight title fight, Tyron was like, I don't know why they did this. I can fight a month later. So if he's been healthy since July, then I don't think it'll play that big of a factor. But if he's just saying that to show to try and, like, pump himself up, that's a whole nother story. If he's truly 100% healthy, because when Chris Weidman fought Anderson Silva the first time, he had the same shoulder surgery, and he knocked out Anderson Silva in second round. So it just depends on if Tyron Woodley is really 100% healthy or if he's just saying that. I don't personally know, but if he's 100%, I don't expect it to play much of a factor.
Yeah, and Till is the slight favorite in Vegas right now, minus 150.
It's smart. He's huge. He's the guy. He is the guy now at welterweight.
Yeah, he's a massive dude. Trash talking dude. I like him. I like the fact that he brings something different to the table. So we agreed on basically every fight on the main card except for the championship fight. I mean, a lot of the fights on the main card are pretty lopsided. All right, Jose, this has been exciting. UFC 228 in Dallas.